Hey guys, good morning. There's something that I wanted to talk about that I think bears repeating again. This is like another thing that it's not a one and done when you hear it. It's something that you have to constantly be reminding yourself of and correcting yourself about, near constantly at first. It's like everything, all these concepts, manifesting concepts and other spirituality things. This is a practice. It's not, I just learned this secret thing and now I'm different. Now I live differently than everybody else. And, or I'm, all I have to do is read these concepts and now I'm awakened. For most people, this is a gradual thing. Most people don't just wake up suddenly. And when they do, it's generally not from, watching a YouTube video or reading a book. Who knows why those things happen when people just suddenly and permanently awaken. For the vast majority of people, it's going to be an ongoing, everyday practice, or it's not going to do anything at all. Just reading this stuff, reading a book, if you don't put it into practice, it's largely meaningless. It's just more shit rattling around in your brain, providing you with next to no benefit. So this is another thing that bears repeating. This is another thing that I think for most people, takes a while to really sink in and start to alter what you automatically are attracted to and do with your life. And this is especially an issue, I think, in the Neville GED community that has sprung up in the last 5 years. The purpose of understanding that the outer is created by the inner is not so that you then use that to manipulate the 3D world in order to continue to base your happiness and well-being on the external. If you make that mistake, you're going to be living basically the exact same life you've always been living. It's just a new way of chasing things, succeeding and failing at things in the external world. People, I think, hear about everything, the concepts surrounding manifestation and think, now I can control everything. Now I can get the things I couldn't get before. Now I will be happy. And it's a bitter disappointment to find out that, maybe you do find it a little easier now to get something in the external that you haven't been able to get, but you find that you're no happier, or that it didn't provide you with enough of a boost to really change anything, and you're still unfulfilled. You're still basically exactly where you were when you started. That's actually, in my opinion, it's actually kind of one of the beautiful things about this whole thing, this whole manifestation thing. The truth is the truth regardless. And so, people find manifesting, the idea of it, they start to employ it. They start to have a little bit more success in the outer world. But everyone still has to get to the same point. Everyone still, regardless of what you have in the external world, everybody still has to get to the same place at the end of the day. And it's funny because all of this manifesting stuff, I don't really know how else to refer to it. All of it has been around forever, and people have known about it forever. And there have been rules, that societies have placed on who could, talk about this or know about it or whatever. And now that it's become more mainstream, sorry, this is where I was going with it. This is kind of beautiful to me. now it's mainstream. And it turns out that whether or not it's kept a secret, the same number of people are still going to get anything from it as did when it was kept secret. Because if you're not ready for it, then you're still not going to get anything from it. If you're not ready for it, you're still going to use it to try to manipulate the outer in order to create happiness in the inner. What Neville GED is talking about in his vast body of work, if you ask me, is when he says the world is your mirror, and as above, so below. What he means is that you change yourself, and the outer reflects that in your experience of the outer, and no matter what's out there. And you're the source of so many of your own problems that when you change, you will stop creating those problems. Will outer events cease to exist? This is what I see people sort of, this is, I think, sort of the conclusion that a lot of people that just get into this draw. They say that, they think that this is the solution to all my problems. This is the relief from pain that I've been looking for. And it is. But the mistake is in thinking that it's because then the outer is going to be free of all challenges and problems and everything that you've experienced in your life. When the truth is, many of those things will still occur, but your inner change will change the way you see them, experience them, and ultimately probably what the outcome is. That's what this is. And it is so easy to lapse back into thinking that something in the external being different is going to drastically, permanently alter you and how you experience things and how you feel. And, keeping that thing in your mind as the destination. And when I get there, I'll be happy. And, I can tell you this from my own personal experience as somebody who's experienced multiple major external transformations in the area of my physical self, in the area of my relationships, and in the area of my finances. I've had a dramatic shift in all of those areas. And so what I'm experiencing in the external world is, by measurable standards, it's much, much better. I would say I'm about as happy now as I was when none of those things was in place. Like when I look back at my early 20s, I'm basically the same person. I'm basically, I experienced my life in nearly, I still have the same existential source of anxiety and stuff that I did then. That's the source of the unhappiness, not all this external stuff, which is why I'm on here talking about this, or why I feel, it's taken a lot for me to feel, and I still struggle with this, it's taken a lot for me to feel like I qualify to even have a voice about this stuff. And that's why I bring up, some of the external accomplishments that I've had, because most of the people, I think pretty much everyone is still in this phase. And everybody's awakening from this, but most everyone is still in this phase where manipulating the external is where it's at. So in order to even, I mention my accomplishments because that's what I think people are looking to hear, because they still think that the external accomplishments are going to change everything. You know, there are benefits to be derived from things that you get in the external, but they pale in comparison to what really needs to happen in order for you to reach a point where you have upgraded your experience from wherever you are right now. I read this book a long time ago that made the case that basically you're born with a certain level of happiness, like natural happiness. And everything, you know, outside of anything you do externally, this wasn't a manifestation book, by the way. This was like some kind of science book. I think it was called Happy, or I think that was the name of the book. But basically, anything you do externally is not going to change your basic level of happiness. That, to me, I think is the purpose of the striving for awakening, is that everybody wants the upgrade. And that really comes from solving these inner existential problems, the inner causes of suffering, dispelling the illusions that are keeping you unhappy. And so that's the thing that really makes the difference. And that's the thing that really changes things externally. Everything else is here and gone. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. That's what was on my mind this morning as I just did my 10,000 step walk at the gym. Kept thinking about that, and I was like, I must need to make a video about this for my YouTube channel. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. And I hope that you're able to remind yourself of this at key points, the purpose of which is to relieve you of the suffering that comes along with the striving for these external things and the feeling like there is something wrong because you don't have them. We all suffer from this. Really, if you're not awakened, and there are so few people who are truly outside of this, if you're not awakened, we're all, you know, there's a large group of us that are dealing with the exact same things. It's a human thing for most people, and everybody's dealing with some part of this. So anyway, have a great day.